Continuing, והחמירו ז"ל בעוון דברים בטלים. Chachamim also, the same chumrah that they put by bitul Torah, they are very machmir on devarim betelim. When people talk shtuyot, they sit there and don't talk things nonsense, right? ואמרו, asach שיחת חולין עובר בלע ועשה. Chachamim, בגמרא מסכת יומא, Chazal tell us that people that they talk sikhat cholin. Sikhat cholin means there is no benefit of the words that are coming out of their mouth. You are over on love and aseh. They are over on the mitzvah aseh and love. וכתב רבנו יונה בשערת השובה, הקובע עצמו תמיד לשיחה בטלה ודברים בטלים כדרך יושבי קרנות, people that they sit and they talk, דברים בטלים, שיחה בטלה, things that is no point, there's nothing good comes out of that, like כדרך יושבי קרנות. יושבי קרנות, people that sit in coffee shops, right? They sit next to the marketplace and they just talk all day. ובכלל cat aletzim. They are considered cat aletzim. Cat aletzim are the group of jokers. ושתיים רעות יש בדבר. Two things could come out of this. האחת, כי כל המרבה דברים מרבה חטא. When people talk too much, that there's no point to it, eventually they're going to do things that's not appropriate. והשנית, כי הוא בטל מדברי תורה. Also, that time that they're sitting around doing nothing and talking דברים בטלים, talking things that is no point to them, it become you batel מדברי תורה. That time you could have learned Torah. ויש בדבר הזה דרכי מוות. כי איך לא זכר ולא שם על ליבו, כי בעיתים ההן אשר הוא משחיתן יוכל להשיג הנעימות לקנות חיי העולם. How is it possible that person didn't think that on that moment, that minutes or hours or whatever time that you said to talk דברים בטלים, you could have sit there and קונה חיי העולם הבא. You could have ממש learned the פרק המשנה, 2 הלכות, something. אם יקבע העיתים המזומנות לתורה שלו פנוי מהן ממלאכתו ועסקיו. Right? You could, if you קובע time to learn that moments, you could have ממש accomplished tremendous. And זה כי אם בזאתו את המצווה. The reason they didn't do that, because they don't understand the חשיבות, the importance of לימוד התורה. If they understood the mitzvah of לימוד התורה is so important, so חשוב, right? They wouldn't do it. They would jump. There are 5 minutes, they could sit there and learn Torah. כי אשמת הביטול מן התורה, אשי עד אבדון תאכל. Because the punishment of ביטול Torah is like a fire that destroys you. כאשר אמרו כדבר השם בזה, כל שאפשר לעסוק בתורה ואין עוסק. What is כדבר השם בזה means? חפץ חיים explains in ספר תורת הבית that when a person sees that if you sit, make a cheshbon in a week, how many hours, how many minutes you sat there and you spoke דברים בטלים, and you make a cheshbon, how much could have I learned Torah in that moment that I sat there and did nothing? It becomes, Chas v'shalom, he says, that's the pshat in the pasuk, דבר Hashem baza, that you destroyed Hashem's words. כל שאפשר לעסוק בתורה ואין עוסק, על כן יענש לשאת עול האיסורים מידה כנגד מידה. That's what Rabbeinu Yonah, the whole thing that I just read, this is what Rabbeinu Yonah said. So you see from here that a person that has ability, they have the opportunity to learn Torah, and they don't learn, the punishment is tremendous. Because you could have learned so much Devar Chokhmah v'Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you didn't. Now that takes us to a different place. Somebody told me today, Joey told me today, a beautiful word, that the women, that the Gemara tells us, that Chazal tell us that the women, what is the sachar, the reward of women for the Limud Torah, that they wait for their husbands to come. When a husband goes to Bet Midrash to learn, they say it takes him 15 minutes to get there. He doesn't get the sachar of Limud Torah until he actually sits down and learns. But the women, they get the sachar while the husband leaves the house. The 15 minutes also, they get the sachar, the reward of Limud Torah. From the minute that he leaves the house, the husband gets the sachar from the time that they get there. When sit there and learn Torah. And when you come there and you don't learn and you talk about in Betelim, she gets the sachar. You are the one not getting a sachar. And so because she kicked you out, she sent you to Bet Midrash to learn, you didn't take the opportunity, you wasted your time. But that also takes us to a different place. What about mitzvot? Let's say a person is sitting in a group, there's 5-6 people are learning Torah, and somebody wants to drink coffee, or he wants to drink tea, and they said loud, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam she'akol niya b'dvaro, and everybody says Amen. That's a bitul Torah. Why are you making your out loud? Because you take the amount of time that everybody has to answer Amen to you, that's a bitul Torah for them. Say it quietly. You don't have to say it in a way that everybody has to listen to you to be drinking coffee now. It's not their problem. When a person sits in a Bet Midrash and there is a Berit Milah, you don't have to leave. The Limud Torah is more important than Mishtatef Berit Milah. It's more important than to Mishtatef, to be part of a Chatuna even. You don't have to leave Bet Midrash to come to Chatuna. There's an unbelievable teshuvah from Rav Wazim Shevet HaLevi. He says, there was once in a Bet Midrash, a Gabbai Sadaqah came, wanted to raise money for a cause. He wanted to know the Avrachim are learning. Can you stop in the middle of the Seder to raise money for an important cause of Sadaqah? So Rav Wazim goes through the whole inyan of Bitul Torah. But the Sat Sadaqah is also very important, right? It could save somebody's life. He says, if the situation is that after limud they could give the money, then you should not stop learning. After learning, go give the sadaqah. But if the situation is that they mamash need the money right then, somebody needs the money right then you are allowed to mevatel Torah for that purpose. You see, they didn't take it lightly, even though the Chazal tell us, achnosat orchim ke kabbalat penei hashechina yoter me kabbalat shechina. Right? When you have guests, is more important than Kabbalat accepting Shekhinah. What about the guest comes to your house 8 o'clock that you have to come to Bet Midrash to learn? Are you allowed to sit at home and take care of the guest? Or you say, I'm sorry, I'm going to Bet Midrash. So the halacha is, if you have somebody to take care of the guest, then you should not sit there, you should leave. I'm sorry, I have learning, I have to go. Somebody else, take care of the guest. If there is nobody else to do, then you have to stay there and take care of the guest. But you see that the importance, even achnasat orchim, yoter mekabbalat penei hashechina, there is a limit. It's not a black check that you could do whatever you want in the cost of not learning and mevatel Torah because of that. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to talk about more halachic aspects of the Bitul Torah, that how it's going to affect and impact the lives of people that they want to learn, and in what situations a person is allowed to mevatel Torah.